Last night, we had rookie Derik Queen dropping 30 on Nikola Jokic. And the question that I want to ask here is, will the NBA regret passing up on Derik Queen, as many teams that passed up on Derik Queen? We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, Mark Cuban stepping back into a power dynamic with the Dallas Mavericks and says that the Mavericks will not be trading AD. Do we believe it? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And Tyler Herro is gearing up for his season debut in Miami on Monday. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. So, we had Derik Queen, who went up against Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets yesterday, and Derik Queen showed absolutely no fear. He was aggressive, he was attacking very early, and he did help the Pelicans get off to a hot start and put up one of their best halves of basketball in quite a while. Now, New Orleans did come up short. They fell to 2-13 on the season, but one of the more positive takeaways is the play of Derik Queen, especially considering that a lot of people have much aligned the trade that the Pelicans made, giving up an unprotected first-round pick in a deep draft in 2026 to be able to draft Derik Queen when they made that trade with the Atlanta Hawks. And listen, I tell you what right now, Queen balled out all the way. 30 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He did all that on 12-18 shooting from the field as well. Now, the Pelicans were a net negative, or a neutral, like no positive, no negative, in regards to his 30 minutes on the basketball court. But listen here, they lost the minutes without him absolutely on the court. And Derik Queen is already showing himself to be an absolute force in this league. And for what it's worth, former MVP Nikola Jokic gave Derik Queen his flowers after the game. But the question I want to ask her is this, when it comes down to Derik Queen, is that sometimes us as NBA fans and definitely as NBA execs can kind of overlook the potential of a player or think too much about the potential of a player. And I think that Derik Queen is a perfect example of that. When you look at what Derik Queen did in his one season in Maryland, the 16 points, the being a hub on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, the turnovers were more than the assists at 2.4 compared to about 2 assists per game. And the rebounding at 9 rebounds per game. But we saw that this kid had a motor and had an engine and had the drive, right? And at 20 years old, Derik Queen already looks like one of the most athletic centers in the game of basketball offensively. But here's the thing. The key thing with this one is Derik Queen's defense has not been nearly as bad as advertised or as people were expecting it to be coming into the and that says a lot really about a young player. Young bigs defensively kind of are kind of slower around to come around when it comes down to it, right? And that just is what it is. But when you look at it, Derik Queen has one of the best defensive ratings on the Pelicans overall at 118. Now, the Pelicans aren't necessarily a strong defensive team, so even at being 118 and that being a little bit over the league average of 110, it's no doubt that Derik Queen is not this black hole on defense that people thought he would be. Also, he's one of the questions about him coming into this league as well was the size at 6'9", right? 250 pounds. That's worked out pretty well for him. He is only averaging 6.5 rebounds per game, on the season. But when you look at the last 5 games for Derik Queen, right? 8 rebounds, 17 points per game, 4 assists as well. He's doing that on 66% shooting from the field, I believe, right? So shooting 69% shooting from the field, which is really good to see him from that. He's not shooting the 3 ball all that well, but he's performing pretty well. I was wrong. It was 55% from the field, 69% from free throw range is what he's averaging there. Turnovers are a lot at 3.4, but it is what it is there. Ideally, he probably shouldn't be doing a lot of the ball handling when it comes down to it, but Derik Queen is a very special player. And I think when you look at this as well, he's doing this while only 40% of his shots are being assisted. So he's creating his own shot. 60% basically of his shots are unassisted, and that's a lot for a big man. You typically see big men hover around like the between 50 and like 60% of their shots being assisted on even the most dominant big man because you have guards in there for a reason. This Pelicans team is struggling this season. And I want to make no mistakes about that. This is a team that's struggling. They still need to figure out their direction, whatever's going on with Zion, those type of things. But Derik Queen looks like a good pick. Now, the thing that still makes that basically a little bit of a question is that the Pelicans don't look like they're going to win a lot of games this season. And the Hawks, who are one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference and starting to, wake up on the season, if they end up getting a top 5 pick in this draft, you got to question, like, the people are always going to compare that versus what Derik Queen is and if he lives up to that, all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, Derik Queen looks like a player that was worth trading into the first round and trading a pick to get. It's just in this specific draft is where it may, end up hurting the Pelicans at. But overall, Derik Queen is good, man. He's really good. He's a good basketball player. He's giving tons of effort, and he is a bright spot on this Pelicans team that needs as many of those bright spots as what they can get, right? You pair that also with the fact that they do have, Jeremiah Fears there, which is another player that was high in this draft as well, at him scoring 15 points per game. Listen, the Pelicans, again, I know that it's far off, but if the Pelicans make the right decisions and with their roster going forward, hey, man, we'll see. Some tough decisions are ahead with this Pelicans team. Zion Williamson being one of the biggest decisions that need to be made there, and we'll see what the future holds there. But overall, Derik Queen has been such a bright spot on this season, and I don't know if enough people are talking about it because it is the Pelicans. Hopefully this game and this performance against Nikola Jokic wakes some people up to that. But Derik Queen has had himself a hell of a start to the season, and I wanted to give him some love here. Let's move on. Yesterday, Tim McMahon reported that the Mavs were expected to explore the trade value of Anthony Davis. And we got an update on this late yesterday. Mark Cuban spoke with The Athletic Wednesday night and said that the Dallas Mavericks will not try to trade Anthony Davis this season, despite widespread speculation that Nico Harrison's firing would lead the team to trying to fire the big man. Cuban saying this directly: "We won't. We want to try to win." He did also tell The Athletic that his role right now is an advisor to Patrick Dumont, who is the governor of the Dallas Mavericks as well. Did make it clear that Dumont does make all the final decisions, when it comes down to that. But he did say this: "I'm here to help where I can." And so now this throws a little bit more questions on what's going on with the Dallas Mavericks. Hearing that they're trying to win this year, is that a trade value thing to where they don't want to potentially lessen the trade value of Anthony Davis before he gets back on the court and things like that? Because once teams know that you're moving and shopping a player, sometimes that hurts the value. The Mavericks are 4-12 right now on the season. Not a good mark at all to be on. Not a good mark where you want to try to win it, and that Nico Harrison, the previous GM, was selling this as a team that he felt could win a title, right? Now you do have Cooper Flagg there. And having that the number one overall pick in Cooper Flagg, a player that a lot of people are excited about, that changes a lot of things for your team. But this place that the Mavericks are in where they're trying to do both, I personally don't understand it, man. I'm glad that Mark Cuban is back in power and having some power here, but the Dallas Mavericks own their own first-round pick outright. Now, that could say that, well, Haize, because they do own that own first-round pick, they have the ability to let this go whatever way they want to and see the natural conclusion of it. And you wouldn't necessarily be wrong to say that either, right? But I just look at this and say, are you overcomplicating something, trying to keep somebody around that clearly you can reset a timeline on? But, as a contrary to that point, if they don't value resetting the timeline and more so value the talent that they have here now and want to do something with that because of the fans, because of what the team been through, whatever it is, you can never knock a team for trying to win, especially in a league where teams try to pack it in and tank all the time. But it just does not seem like the right. They've given up so many first-round picks to build this version of the team, to now kind of double down on that at a time where you don't need to. Seems like a little counterintuitive to finding the long-term, more stable direction, in my personal opinion. But hey, I could completely be wrong with that. Maybe this is the best decision for the Dallas Mavericks, is to keep Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, try to compete, win with Cooper Flagg. So Cooper Flagg and the other young players are learning what it takes to win at the NBA level. But he did say, I think the special thing that he said here is not during this season. So they could look at this and say, hey, we're just going to play this out, man. Reportedly, Patrick Dumont's making the decision on when Anthony Davis gets back on the court already. So maybe they have something up their sleeve where they'd want to recoup the trade value in the offseason, because they have their first round pick either way in 2026. It's future picks that they're trying to get back. So, maybe a year off AD's deal helps with that. Another year that teams don't have to pay. Maybe it helps you recoup kind of more unprotected. I don't know there. The Kyrie thing is interesting as well, because what are you going to do once Kyrie? Where are you as a team when Kyrie comes back? end of December was the initial mark for Kyrie. We're towards the end of November now, so we're about a month away from Kyrie Irving potentially making his return anyway. And so what does that then look like for this team? And maybe that's what they want to see. Get Anthony Davis back, get Kyrie Irving back, then really take an evaluation on where you feel like this team fits in the Western Conference at that time, and then make your decisions. So that could be what they're doing, and if they are, hopefully it works out for them in the long run. And we'll be here to cover it and see every day here at NBA Central. With that said, let's get into the last topic for today's episode, and that is Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro is slated to make his return Monday against the Dallas Mavericks, who we just talked about, to make his season debut. He did practice at times this week as well. He's been out with an ankle injury since September. He's been out with. Now, make sure you remember that Tyler Herro was an all-star last season for the Miami Heat, averaging 24 points per game, 5 assists per game, and he was really a big part of what that Miami Heat team did last season. And for what it's worth, Eric Spoelstra did say that he's confident Tyler Herro will fit in the team's new offensive scheme, which is a lot more faster pace. It's motion-based as well. It creates a lot of drive and kick opportunities, which Tyler Herro could very well benefit very strongly from, and maybe even put him in a situation where he can do more things off ball as well, which could benefit him also down the road. This is a Miami Heat team as well that, hey, in the East, they're in the thick of things. They're 9-6 on the season. Right now, the 6th best team per record in the Eastern Conference. And to get a guy like Tyler Herro back as well, who averaged what he averaged last year, can drastically help this team be better and compete, especially in the East. And that's the thing in all of this, right? You get him, you still have to figure out him and Norman Powell and what these guys' balance is going to be with on-ball, off-ball, but Norman Powell averaging 25 points per game for this team. You got Bam averaging 19. The offense isn't the problem. Surprisingly enough, the problem with the Miami Heat, or the question, I should say, with the Miami Heat right now, is their defense. And Tyler Herro doesn't shape up to do more for that, but as we've seen many teams before, if you can just be middle of the pack defensively, which, they're 6th in defensive rating. Over the last 5 games, though, which they've gone 3-2 on, they fall into 16th in defensive rating. So there's a good enough sign there that defensive floor is going to be good enough. And maybe this is a team in the Miami Heat that we're talking about moving further up in the Eastern Conference standings and making some more noise in the East. But let me know what you guys think on the pending return of Tyler Herro, what that could mean for this Miami Heat team as well, and how do you have the Heat shaped up? But that's also wraps up another episode of NBA Central. Derik Queen is slowly but surely putting this league on notice and making a case to be in that Rookie of the Year conversation. Mark Cuban says that Anthony Davis isn't going anywhere. I don't know if I believe that or not. And Tyler Herro is almost ready to make his season debut and his return and help Miami and their modern offense. So drop your thoughts on everything down below. Which storyline is the biggest for you as well? Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel as well. Stay locked in. You guys can follow us at NBA Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you guys want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. And like I like to end every episode on, y'all stay safe, stay hoop ready, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one. The next time I feel like making a video. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.